I just got the new Kobo Libra Colour and I'm so excited to share this with you guys. Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys the new Kobo Libra Colour, and I was going to compare it to my old Kobo Libra. They're like first edition H2O. So I got the Kobo Libra H2O, I think about 5 years ago. And this is just a regular black Amazon case. And over here is the Libra Colour, which I have an official Kobo case. And this one I have in black, and then the Kobo Libra Colour I have in white. So my boyfriend got me this one for our anniversary, so thank you. And basically the reason why he got it was because my old one was starting to get really slow, really laggy, and I wouldn't say unusable, but it definitely wasn't as enjoyable to use, I will say. I'm hoping for this video to just share with you guys like an honest comparison of the two and my thoughts on this new one versus the old one. Yeah, just kind of my experience with it thus far. Okay, so I'm going on the official like Kobo site. Okay, so I'm gonna start by talking about this one, which I have the official name now. It is the Kobo Libra H2O. This was not my first e-reader, I think it's like my third e-reader. And what I really loved about it is that it has buttons so that you can turn the page as well as touch screen. So that was definitely something that had drawn my attention, just because I'm a very sensory person and I do like tactile buttons. So they both have buttons. The Kobo Libra H2O and the Kobo Libra Colour both have buttons. Some of like the basic specs that they both share is that they are waterproof. So I'm just gonna go through technical specs. I'm gonna put them both up on the screen so you guys can do a relatively easy comparison. I'm not the techiest person. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Like, my whole channel isn't about tech, and there's obviously people who are more knowledgeable about tech than I am. I just wanted to share with you guys some of like the differences, especially if you are planning on upgrading your e-reader to a more recent one, to see if you think it's worth it. So both displays are 7 inches, both touchscreen, and they both have a 1680 by 1264 resolution. A couple things I forgot to mention was that they both have buttons, which actually I might have mentioned in the beginning. Both on-off buttons are on the back side of the reader, and the basic functionality of both are very similar. So in terms of customizing your fonts, your margins, your line spacing, justification, the brightness of your screen, and the orientation, as well as the warmth of the light. And lastly, the software is also the same on both. So in that respect, they're very, very similar, although what the Kobo Libra Colour offers that the other one doesn't is that it displays in color, obviously, based on the name. And if that's a big deal for some people, like if you like to read like magazines or comics, things that have color, I'm sure this would be a major upgrade. I will say that I'm not one of those people, but it is nice to see like the covers of my books in color. It also has dark mode, which I know at least this old Kobo that I have doesn't offer dark mode. I'm not sure about more recent ones since. In terms of storage, the Colour has 32 gigs of storage, but the old H2O only has 8. Okay, I'm only gonna talk about like the things that I think are gonna be more relevant. Battery life, they say it's about the same, about a week of life. I really think it depends on how you use it. So take that with a grain of salt. Obviously, because I've had the H2O longer, the battery on that does not last nearly as long. So that's just some of like the basic comparisons. Honestly, you can get all this information on their website, so I don't think I'm bringing anything new to the table. But I will say, I do think that if you are someone who enjoys like taking notes on your books or highlighting things, that because the Colour has color, you can highlight different lines with different colors. And if you are someone who likes to annotate their books, they offer a stylus that you can purchase that is compatible so that you can actually write notes onto your e-reader. So I'm not a huge annotator. The types of books that I read, I haven't found a way that it would be relevant for me to annotate. Then again, I've never been the type to annotate my books anyways. So that's just me personally. I know a lot of people have been enjoying the fact that you can annotate. Just to do now basic functionality comparisons, and obviously I'm comparing like a new one to an old one, so it won't be perfect. But what I did find was that obviously the Colour is a lot quicker, especially when I turn it on, it turns on a lot faster. When I click and turn the page, it turns a lot faster, which I think is to be expected. But yes, like I mentioned, the only difference that I've noticed is dark mode, which I have not personally been using, but it is a very nice touch. Oh yeah, and then one more thing that I thought would be good to mention is that the Libra H2O uses a USB type B port, and then the new one is USB-C, which is very nice. I think everyone's trying to switch over to that, which is awesome. Only need one charger. That's kind of all I really had to say. I just want to now talk about like just the experience of using this color and how I've liked it. So if you're new to e-readers as a whole and you're deciding if an e-reader is even worth it, I personally do think so. It is much lighter than a physical book. It's much more transportable. You can read this basically anywhere. Like I find in bed, it's like easy to hold. You know, you're not like lifting a heavy book where your arms are getting tired, and you can put so many more books on it. So just a weight wise and the number of books that you get obviously is way more beneficial than having a stack of like 3-4 books. And I think it makes it easier also if you wanted to read multiple books at the same time. It does take some getting used to, obviously, because it is a device you're gonna be tapping. And I know common thing that people talk about, and me, even I've experienced this, kind of missing the feeling of holding a physical book and turning the pages and seeing your like physical progress of like where you are in the book. So really, I would say getting an e-reader was probably one of the best things in terms of like my reading journey that has kept me reading a lot more. And I have found it to be cheaper. Like ebooks, if you're gonna buy in the store, is cheaper. If you get it from the library, then it's free. And if you know other ways to get ebooks, then it's free. Financially, I think it makes more sense. Like ebooks, I think average around $13. Your physical books have gone up to like $20 Canadian now. I do have my opinions, obviously, on the Kindle versus Kobo kind of thing. If you guys do want to hear about it, I'd be happy to share that also. That's kind of everything that I wanted to share in terms of these actual like 2 new e-readers. If you want to see the unboxing of the Libra Colour, I have a TikTok of it, which I'll do like a little preview right here, but you can also just click into the video itself in the top right corner, I believe. Yeah, the rest of this video is gonna be more like a reading vlog style video, which I really, really love those types of videos. So now in terms of what I'm actually reading, I am currently reading Fourth Wing. It is a series that I think is like super blown up on TikTok, and I have wanted to read it now for so long, but I got caught up with other romance books as well as other fantasy books that have just basically taken up all my time. So now I'm finally on Fourth Wing. So let me show you guys the cover. And another fantasy book that, or I think it's like dystopian, I'm not sure, is Red Rising, which I had seen on TikTok. And then I also went to Chapters and I noticed that they had it on one of their tables, and it just seemed like a book that people are pretty excited about. That's like very similar, I think, to like Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner vibes. I guess books that were really popular several years ago, and I loved those era of books. So it's really nice to see that it's like kind of coming back a little bit. I'm very excited to read this one, and I will be reading both at the same time, so hopefully that doesn't get too trippy. Also, let me know what you guys think of Fourth Wing if you guys are reading it. I'm gonna go and read for the next little bit.
You're reading, remember?
Okay.
Stay in character.
So I finished reading Fourth Wing, and honestly, I read it so fast. I read it in 4 days. I started on the 6th and finished on the 9th, and it really was because it's such a good book. I think this is the best book that I've read in the last few years. It reminds me of Hunger Games a lot, which when I had read it in high school I really enjoyed, and to go back to like fantasy that's like that, where it's like, what's the word, a dystopian, I just really like. So I got to use this like new e-reader for that entire book, and it was really good, very responsive, like no issues, obviously because it is new, but just wanted to kind of tie off the review with that I really do love this e-reader. I'm already 20% into the second book, and then there isn't a third or a fourth until next year, so I'm just gonna have to wait. But I do highly recommend this book series as a whole. At least the first 2 books I've been really enjoying, and if I have to rate it, like an 11 out of 10. It really is such a good book. I don't know how to describe it. Like the best way I can describe is that there are different quadrants that you have to like pass like tests to like get into, so kind of similar vibes to like Divergent. The book is just like going through how like she makes it through her first year in the quadrant that she chooses. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to talk about what actually goes on in the book. I just highly recommend that you read it. But yeah, I just wanted to end it with like a small mini book review and like a little bit of like a reading vlog. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.